Okay, this is Mr. Wyrick. I'm here to go over the final exam review with you real quick. Just going to kind of go question by question, try to get some of these answered as well as we can. Determine whether each set of ordered pairs is a function. Remember, the y's can repeat all day long, not a problem. If the x's repeat, we have an issue. Here we have a pair of repeating x's. This is a no. This one, all the x's are different. We're fine. This one, we have a repeating -1. That's a no. And on this one, we have repeating 3's. That's a no. On this, domain and range. Domain is all these x values. We have to treat them as discrete, so we list them separate. It'd be -4, -1, 0, 2, and 7. Remember, it's a list. The range would be the y values over here. It's a list, it's separate, -5, 0, 1, 2, and 4. Remember, these will be multiple choice questions, so you'll need to kind of pick the answer that matches up. Domain and range of the graph, where does it start? Where does it stop? Domain goes left to right. It's the x values again. So it goes from -2 over to 4. You ought to be pretty good at this after we had our project, if you did that project. Less than or equal to here, where we're filled in, open circle over here, so it's just less than. On the range, we go bottom to top. It's y. We start at a -3. We finish up here at a +3. It's y in the middle of those. Remember, multiple choice, so eliminate the letter that does not match. Again, we're equal to this -3. We are not equal to this one on the top with that open circle. X-intercept is where we cross the x-axis. That's going to be 7.5, 0. Our y-intercept is always 0, and this one, again, it's in between two numbers. It's in between 5 and 6, so that's 5.5. Given this, what is the value of f of 7? This means put 7 in for x. 1 minus 7 would be a -6. 6 times -6 is going to give us a -36 here. Solve the equation. The important part on this one is to just remember it's menu 3, 1. We are going to numerical solve this problem and move on. You can also take the values from the multiple choice and substitute them in for x and see which one comes up true. Solve this equation again, menu 3, 1. We're talking about numerical solve here. Don't forget your comma and then your variable at the end of that when you end solve. Solve this one for y. Your best solution on this one for a multiple choice test is going to be to go ahead and graph this. But since we don't have that option right now, that's 16x minus 8. We're going to subtract another 6 from the other side, so it's 16x minus 14. Y is equal to. We'd graph. We'd see which graphs come up the same. Write a linear function that represents the table. This is, you got to go to list in spreadsheets. You'll enter it in. You'll go and open up a separate page on here, and you'll choose your, I forget what it's called. It's the purple one on your menu. But go ahead and run your regression. It'd be linear regression because it says linear function, okay? My y-intercept isn't already on here, so I can't just make an easy guess at it. Solution to the system, menu 3, 2. You can also sub in the values of x and y that they give you to make sure each one does solve quickly. That's oftentimes what I'll do if I'm looking at multiple choice on that one. But this is your keyboard shortcut to solve a system. Number 11, the scatter plot. Again, you want to enter these on your lists and spreadsheets. You want to get your good estimation. And then if 275, it's going to be around here. So probably 100 or 110. Either one of those, depending on your multiple choice, is going to be a good answer there. If we go to simplify this one, remember, you can type this in, find your decimal equivalent. Okay, on this one, we're talking about reducing. We did the old birthday cake method here. We end up with 8 on the outside, 3 left on the inside. This one doesn't match up with anybody. He has to stay home. If we have 15 V's, we're going to cut that in half. That's going to give us 7 on the outside with 1 left over with no one to go out on a date with. He stays home. Which graph represents the inequality? Again, graph this on your calculator. On this one, that's going to be a positive slope, so it'd be one of these going up. And in this case, we're not dividing by a negative, so it'd stay less than, it would be D. If we go to factor this one, again, this one's menu 3-3, and you'll rewrite those factors. You can use the calculator for that. If you're doing the MAD method, that'd be 30, it'd be a negative 15, positive 2 over 6. So that'd be 3x plus 1, and, or no, 3x. Nope, this is a minus 10 and a minus 3. It's going to be 2x minus 1, and 10 over 6 is going to reduce to 5 over 3, so 3x minus 5. Yeah, that should work. Which function is best represented by the graph? Again, we're talking vertex form. You just graph all of these. It is going to be negative. This one's going to give the right vertex. Solutions would be where we cross the x-axis. Graph the equation x equals negative 6. That's a vertical line. 3 other terms used to describe the x-intercepts. Okay, it's roots, zeros, x-intercepts, solutions. Rocks, if you're looking for rocks. Roots, zeros, x-intercepts, solutions. If we go to factor this one, multiplies to make negative 6, adds to make negative 5. That's x minus 6 and x plus 1. Find the slope. We just count 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, and over 1, 2, 3. That's a negative 5/3. Axis of symmetry is going to be dead through the middle of these, which is going to be at a negative 3. X equals negative 3. The maximum is up here at y equals 9. The domain and range, the domain is all real numbers. The range is y is greater than 0 because we have the asymptote in this kind of graph. This is menu 3-2 again. Solve for y. Again, just graph the inequality. Make sure you shade. This one would be shaded above, and it's a solid line. It's a negative line. So it's going to be something like this. Graph this equation. Negative 2x plus 8 is going to be down like this. Linear function. Again, this is your list and spreadsheets, and then your statistics. Function that best represents the data. Again, lists and spreadsheets here. Solve the equation. This is menu 3-1, so your numerical solving. If 5 is an element in the domain, you put it in the place of x. 35 minus 23 is going to be 12 over 4, which is 3. The 0 of the graph is right here. It's 1, 0. The domain and range of this one, domain is all real numbers. Because this one goes down from here, it's going to be y is less than or equal to 1. Domain and range of this is going to be a list. I can't see the numbers too well, but you count them out all separately. It'd be like the mapping we did on the first page, and determine whether it's a function. Again, this goes back to the very same thing. If the x's repeat, it's not a function. This is the one that's a no. All the rest of these are yeses all the way down.